Good morning. Sunday morning. It is the 28th, which makes it the Sunday morning at the end of week 2. We have finished as much as anything has ever finished. We've finished a body of work this week, wrapping up a whole bunch of little odds and ends, which has surmounted in this new menu. So this should be looking a little bit different. We have a left pane and a right pane. In the left pane, we have our list of buttons that now have icons to make them pop out a little bit more beside just needing to read the text, which is something I was groaning about in the last video. So this has all gone in over the last 2 days or so. As we select options from the menu, they obviously light up. And then the new feature is that on the right, we actually just see whatever thing we have selected, including the camera movement for the customize. We just see whatever thing it is we have selected, which is a massive improvement. I think previously the menu buttons were more in the middle and you would have to enter into the menu button, which would go a layer deep and open a new screen that would have this content on it. Now it's just there. This does a couple of different things for us, as we've discussed briefly. It increases findability and discoverability of both feature sets and tutorial content for the game. Because if I was to make my way down to options or exit or somewhat, like I have to happen across these images and this information on my way down there. So super happy with it. To navigate, we would then go right, and we are now just in this menu, or we could go left from anywhere there and it'll pop back to what our selection was and we can continue on our way. And that's just the same for any of the content in here. Yeah, it's feeling pretty good. It feels pretty intuitive to get around and definitely nicer to look at. A couple of remaining jobs. I don't think I want quite so many buttons still. I want to reduce the length of this list somewhat. So I'm playing around with some ideas where maybe I combine a couple of these sections. Customize and achievements, for example, could roll together just into rewards. Beginner, intermediate, and expert. This could be a single button that just says play, and then you go left and right to toggle the difficulties. So it goes sideways instead of up and down. Just to still just reduce a little bit of language on our main menu, because I still think it's a little bit thick. So in addition to this, just grab my controller, we have some in-game improvements as well in the UI space again. This work's not done yet. It's about half cooked, but that's all right. So we have now integrated our next tile interface over into this screen section over here in the middle, which I think to an observer actually initially looks a little odd and like it's out of the way, but when you're playing the game, your attention is right there in that center right quadrant of the screen, which actually makes that next indicator a lot more usable during normal gameplay, which is great. It also declutters the top right of the screen a little bit, simplifying the information that we have there in aid of getting information to the player to the same granularity, just with like less stuff on the screen. This is all feeling and looking good, I think. The other thing, just before I die here, we also have no bar in the center top of the screen anymore. So that was the death wall kind of danger meter. That's now actually on the left in line with where the death wall is. So this is following a similar line of thinking I had about the next tile indicator, where I want the UI elements to feature on the screen in positions that make sense contextually with what the information on the indicator actually is. So we can see now our bar in the bottom left hand corner is filling up as it eats blocks. This is adding, as the death wall eats blocks, this is adding to the idea that bar is talking about an element that is over there on the right side of the screen. It also helps to add as the bar fills up, which I'll just leave a bunch of rubbish behind so the Deathwall can eat it. As the bar fills up there, we can see obviously there's like distinct visual pressure from that side of the screen indicating what's going on. The bar fills to red, starts vibrating everywhere. It's a lot more clear identification, I think. It also plays with this visual idea that the game is a old school arcade kind of CRT game, and that to me reminds me of, as a kid, those green block like volume indicators on old TVs, which is kind of cool. I've also added this CRT display panel kind of edging just up in the corners. That is actually, I drew that in Aseprite. Wasn't too bad to put together. I don't think that's the final version of what that might look like, but I do like what it adds to the space of kind of contextualizing what the game is and where the game's set. It also gives the impression of a Panini projection and a Panini warp, even though I don't have a massive amount of Panini actually applied to the scene. Just rounding those edges like that instantly gives you that Panini CRT kind of fishbowl, convex fishbowl effect, which I think is great. All the menu in here is still the same. Yeah, looking and feeling good. Today is all about the Deathwall. I don't like how the Deathwall or the binary wall, or the wall, the threat element on the left, I don't like how that presents at the moment. I think it's too noisy and it's a bit, I don't know, it doesn't really feel like it's the same as the rest of it. So we're doing some experimentation. Gonna see how I go. Have some ideas. Hopefully they come together. Playing with the graphics library in Unity, so being able to batch draw meshes by some graphics dot mesh render batch draw mesh render instance, and you can pass in matrices of vertex data and draw very cheaply, draw a lot of geometry, which obviously I can't do from just instantiating lots of cubes, but I could have some. I'll just show you, it's right here. I've got like a bit of a prototype of what I want to do put together. If we grab our content scene, so I've got this element here called the cubic entity, and the idea of this cubic entity is that it's this wall of cube elements that deform over time. That's moving quite slowly at the moment, so you can't really see it, but if I were to, let's just get rid of that one and just get the core idea. If I were to choose a 0.1, we can go even smaller. So an element like this that has these cubes in a wall, the idea being that then that element chasing the player kind of contextually makes a little bit more sense. I think we turn its frequency like this, just be able to get it moving a little bit more like how it is in my vision. The update is a little bit odd in the scene view. I haven't quite worked out how to get the scene view rendering at the same speed as the in-game view. I'll just toss this in and we can maybe just see what it looks like live. Yeah, there we go. So the idea is that it's this big shifting cubic entity that is just relentlessly marching across the play space like this. It seems to me that visual element is a little bit more consistent with the design of the rest of the world. So yeah, an idea something like that. Need to tweak some parameters, tweak some colors. Yeah, find some different ways to vary it in the space. And then obviously thinking about this second layer where we death wall cubic eye removed the second layer, never mind. A second layer that has a higher frequency and amplitude of movement of the cubes along their normals, which is all this effect is. It's a mass drawn entity batch made up of these little cubes, and they just move back and forth along their normals, all drawn just dynamically in code with that graphics, Unity graphics library. It's quite cool. Obviously can't achieve this with lots of cubes because it's not performant, but this version here, even in editor, is hitting our like 130, 140 frames. It's very, very efficient, and I've not done anything like reducing the frequency of that call either. That's just running like raw in update, so I can slow that down to like 60 frames a second and get a lot more performance out of it yet. So yeah, really good things. Onward.